Hi friends, Michelle here at Serendipity House. I'm sitting in front of my latest piece that I've been working on for weeks, and I can't wait to show you how I did it and to tell you all about it. It is created with the brand new 2025 summer release of Iron Orchid Designs Menagerie. And there's 8 beautiful sheets of this. My challenge is I'm an overthinker, and I spent a lot of time cutting and laying this design out. It was really good to have a challenge. I've not taken this long to put a transfer on and design a piece in many years. Maybe when you use it, you can share some tips with us on how you put your design together. I'm going to share my tips, my struggles. I don't know if I have any answers. I'm just going to tell you how I did it. So it is just beautiful pieces of classic chinoiserie. And now that I've got some perspective and I can sit back and look at it from afar, I'm really happy with how it came together. You can find the Iron Orchid Designs products as well as DIY paint, which I also used on this beautiful piece, on my website, serendipity.house. I also have a shop in Spofford, New Hampshire, so if you're ever in southern New Hampshire, I would love for you to pop in and say hello, and we could talk IOD and paint and furniture. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like this video. Have fun. This piece started out as a mess that needed a lot of prep work and repairs before I could paint and add my IOD transfer. I started with priming, and then I pounced on some letterpress gray. Ooh, look at that texture. I wasn't sure what color I was going to go with, but I really just needed to get started. I decided to blend some blues. I'm using DIY paint, Blue Iris, Bohemian Blue, Little Black Dress, and Prom Queen. When this is dry, I'm giving it a light sanding, which will show all the texture from my base coat and really bring in some depth. Now I seal with DIY Big Top, so I'm ready to apply my transfers tomorrow. And here it is, Menagerie, these beautiful elements that create a classic chinoiserie. First thing I need to do is cut apart these elements so that I can plan a layout for my dresser. And here's the part that took me days and days of moving cut pieces around, trying to match branches and sizes and leaves and figuring out what direction to go. This really threw me for a loop. After way too much thought and a phone call that helped, I decided to do just one area at a time, and I'm starting with the upper right-hand corner. I like things asymmetrical, and I like things that kind of go off the edge. So I defined my area. The edges are going to be the edges of the drawer all the way around. And I'm having branches and things come from the side, kind of trailing down, at least in this part. Because the area between the drawer is about a 1/2 inch thick, I'm filling it in. I think when you leave those gaps and stretch your design out, it just doesn't look natural. Pro tip, maybe don't hold your breath. I'm planning a bird cage here going off the edge, but I want something in the bird cage, which means I need to figure out how to put those layers underneath the cage so the wires show in the front. I found the layering of all of these elements to be one of the really important factors in making this design work, at least for me. This is taller than my drawer, so I'm pressing down the part that I want to stay in place. The rest of it isn't going to stick until I do that, so I'm using a sharp razor blade. Use the tool that came in the packet, and you rub your design trying to get an air bubble. When you get an air bubble, it'll help push the design off the paper. Slowly release the backing and use it to rub your design. This is called burnishing your transfer. I overthinked it. I am an overthinker. This is pretty much how I worked for a couple of weeks. I would come back, walk away, tape things up, and I often put things aside to save it, to use later, and I had to keep bringing myself back to just doing one area at a time. There are definitely spots I don't like, including where I tried to scratch off a transfer. I decided I would seal because I also didn't have any hardware yet, and that always plays a role in where your eye is going to go. Case in point, a big knob next to a big flower about the same size. I had to figure out what would fit here and also look intentional. I cut extra pieces of the foliage because I felt like it needed more green, and I took these and just moved them around until I found a place where I thought it needed more layering. Again, lots and lots of this happening. Think about negative space when you're creating your design. More is not always more. Negative space is an important element to have in your design to make it flow and not look too busy. I still need to take care of this area where I scratched off a transfer, and layering another one on top of it just isn't going to look right. This is where painting comes in handy. When I was done with touch-ups and applying all my transfers, I sealed with a matte sealer and waited a couple days. Now I'm using DIY Paint Black Wax. The matte sealer will accept this beautifully, and I can go in and do all of my shading. The black wax will help define the frame of our artwork here and also really highlight some of those highs and lows and texture that I really love putting into my pieces. After 24 hours, I buffed the wax, and this is the end result.